Hi Chakits, I have been following you and watching your YouTube channel for years.
I have decided to finally relocate to Las Vegas and want to start a new chapter in my life. I know you're the perfect realtor to help guide me to find my next dream home. I am looking for a modern kitchen, large backyard with a pool and a golf course community.
My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I help buyers like this all the time, so if you're looking for a licensed professional, give us a call at 702-319-1092 or visit lvhomeexperts.com. Buying a home starts here. Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation today. Is your credit score holding you back from purchasing a home? GC Credit Coaches is a repair company that's made easy. Their goal is to challenge and remove all negative errors that hurt your credit score. On average, GC clients see about 10.2 negative items removed over 4 months. Start improving your credit score today with a simple 2-minute online enrollment for a free consultation and a complete credit audit. GC Credit Coaches offers competitive monthly pricing, no contracts, no hidden fees, and the service stops once you are satisfied. GC Credit Coaches removes inquiries, collections, charge-off bankruptcies, and repossessions. Don't forget to visit gccreditcoaches.com.
Attention contractors, remodelers, and homeowners. Is your renovation becoming a pain in the glass? Here at Glass Vegas, we take care of all of your glass needs. From a broken window to custom shower doors, mirrors, winding closures, storefronts, railings, and much more. We can even help you with new or replacement thermally broken windows. We're a full-service, woman-owned glass company that provides unparalleled workmanship, excellent communication, and great customer service. Glass Vegas. We do glass with class.
All right, what's up everybody? Another day. I was gonna say another day, another property tour, but that's typically on my video home tours. Guys, welcome to the LV Home Experts Podcast. This is where we talk about real estate financing and also what's going on with the Las Vegas housing market. Today, we have a very special guest, SHERWIN with the agency. He is a advisor out here in Las Vegas. Technically, he's a real estate agent. What's going on, brother? How's things going with you?
Fat and happy like always.
Fat and happy?
Oh, so I'm supposed to change that around. It's happy and fat.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with being chunky.
Yeah. Like I said, in certain countries, I would be considered a king or a
That's
prince.
true. What country is that?
I have no idea. I gotta find it. Maybe some of your viewers can tell me where fat people are worshipped.
So I wanted to bring him on today because he's been around for how many? 2 decades?
Oh yeah, 19 now.
Oh shit! How old are you? Like 59?
Yeah, almost. No, 44 years old. I think.
44 years old.
Yeah.
Damn, he's been around, and you've been around during the crash, and had a bunch of REO accounts too, as well, right?
Yeah, that was times I'd like to never ever fucking go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes a. Are we allowed to discuss commission? Let's just say the average commission back then was somewhere around $1,500.
Yeah. Well, you guys didn't get shit because you guys had to pay for all those fees, right?
Yeah, that's
the rehab fees. That's where you guys got crushed.
Yeah, we had to worry about reimbursement, and it ended up being like you have to have an accountant to maintain it, because if you didn't submit, you could lose 10, 15 grand on a property. Yeah. It's just between rekey, paint, carpet. Like I remember the REOs, paint, carpet, rekey.
Oh,
done. 15 grand done.
So when did you get your license? So like in 2000, right, or something?
2004.
Like 2004.
Yep.
Oh, so you was there when it was like booming like crazy. See, I don't remember those days, and the reason why is because I was dead broke. I didn't care about getting a house or anything like that. I thought my life was just, I'm just gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't even think about getting financially educated. How to use real estate as leverage to make money.
Yeah.
So tell all the viewers, especially for all the young cats there, right? How was it between 2004 to about like 2007? How was that market?
It was what you heard. If you can breathe and you had a FICO score, you stated your income, you buy a house, and you were flipping houses. You were selling them before they closed. Yeah. There was like double escrows, and people were making money hands over, hands over fist? Hand over fist, that's the saying. And then it just came tumbling down, almost like overnight. Even though it took years to get to that level, I knew people who owned 14 properties and then just in a blink of an eye couldn't unload them. Had to file bankruptcy, losing millions of dollars and start over from scratch. And even then, it took them a while to get to the point because they try to negotiate, they try to keep a couple of properties here and there, and then they try to sell it. Eventually, come 2010, 2008, 9, it all just came to a halt, and people just lost their asses off.
I remember in like 2006, I had a couple of buddies of mine. They were telling me that they would literally go to a new homes track, get registered, lock up a lot, and literally sell their position for some cash. That's crazy, dude.
Like it's the same thing that you do now, but it's called when wholesalers sell it. Similar, like $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 for the lot.
Like an assignment, which is you can't do that nowadays on the new homes.
You technically couldn't do it back then.
I mean, there's ways around it, but I mean, here's the thing. Builders are getting smarter now. They know that, hey, we're not going to do that, right? They want you to close out on the deal. So unfortunately, you can't do that. But I mean, how many homes did you end up selling around that time?
I can't track it. I was actually part of a team he was a HUD broker, but there's no foreclosure. So my first year, I think I did like 31 transactions, and it was just kind of that. And I constantly, it was about 30. It was you just close a couple because they were paying you 4 or 5%. How hard do you really have to work?
Yeah.
When you're pulling in $25,000 per commission or per deal. And what we had to do though, it got competitive. I remembered hiring people from Home Depot. Yeah. Paying them to sit in front of a home sales track overnight, and I come back in the morning and take the spot so that my clients can go ahead and leave a deposit. I'll have checks.
Damn.
That I would then give to them.
How much were you paying these guys?
Like $150, $200. That's it.
Well, $100 and $200. I mean, back then, I mean that went.
But they didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Back then, I had to say, but the average pay was what, $10. You'd pay them $10 an hour to do insane labor, manual labor. You give them $200 to literally tell them, sit here. I'll be back tomorrow.
So there was actually a line?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Line outside the sales track.
Wow. So how do you compare that market to this market like right now? I mean, obviously the highest point was at that, the 485,000, people were waiving the appraisals, waiving the inspections.
Yeah.
Was it more crazier back then than it was here?
Yeah.
It was. Okay.
What happened back then was you walk into a new home sales track and you can have 5 checks. If you're the first guy there, you had 5 buyers. Boom, 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 boom. Have a good day. Like if there's 5 lots available, you have 5 checks. You take all 5 lots. They're not going to let you do that now.
Yeah.
It is more competitive waiving it. But then back then, you might as well have waived appraisals, right? It was no income verification. It was like you could be a gardener and be like buying a $700,000 house. It didn't matter because you can try to flip it for $850,000, $900,000. They had straw buyers. Yeah. Like, I'm going to use your name, but it's really mine. I'm going to front the closing costs, and when I make the money, I'll give you 20 grand. I'll go ahead and like take all the profits.
So it almost seems like there was a lot of shady shit going on.
See, here's the thing we always say, like, compared to like baseball, right? When people compare it to like the steroid era, they weren't testing for it. They weren't looking for it. So people just used it. It wasn't really against the rules. There was no rules to break. Yeah. It's just you did what was allowed. And if it wasn't specifically stated that it wasn't allowed, then you just did it until somebody says, hey, you can't do that. Then you just stop. At least if you didn't want to get caught, you just stop.
So let's fast forward this a little bit. After a couple years of your career, you got into the REO, right? Yep. So you ran an REO account?
Yep, we had a couple.
Okay. What is REO for all the viewers?
Real estate owned. It's the asset of the banks. That's the real estate is owned by the bank.
Okay.
It's bank asset, bank owned properties, essentially a foreclosure.
Can you explain very quickly to the audience how does it become an REO? Because during that time period, a lot of people, especially when we're doing short sales, when they hear the word foreclosure, they think the bank owns it, which it doesn't. It's just going through the process. But can you kind of explain that really quickly?
Yeah, foreclosure is a process. And prior to 2008 or 9, I forget the year, or 10 maybe, when they passed the Homeowners Bill of Rights, we used to be able to foreclose on a house in Vegas in like probably 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
But even though with the huge influx. And so it's you have to follow certain rules and guidelines. You default on your payment. And if you just don't negotiate with the bank, don't communicate with the bank, don't do anything with the bank, in about a year's time, you would then, basically the bank would then take over by auctioning it off at the footsteps of the courthouse. So there's still an auction. And if it doesn't meet the bank's minimum requirement for what the sale price of the home is, the bank then takes it back. Then it goes through a whole different set of processing. Now it goes to a different department, from like the foreclosure department to like the actual real estate owned asset department. Like,
so there was actually an asset manager with the bank that has a portfolio of properties now that they own. So obviously they have to sell it. So they would have to find somebody that's a licensed agent that could actually sell the home, and they would reach on out to you, correct?
Yeah. At that point, though, we were all gunning for them, right? Because we knew they had the assets.
Yeah.
You got to talk about like a guy making $20-25 an hour, and he's going to have like 1,500 assets he has to distribute.
Yeah.
He makes no money. So then like we have to be the ones to kind of, woo him or her.
Yeah.
To say, hey, use me. I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But I wish it was that easy, but
So you literally had to massage somebody's back to get these accounts.
Had to, massage somebody's back. I normally had to pay somebody to do the massaging, but it was pretty much what had to be done. And it wasn't pretty, but at the end of the day, it was whatever it took to get the job done.
So when you were going through your REO account, how many accounts did you actually have at that time?
I had 3 big ones.
Okay.
Premier, PAS, GMAC, and Indimec were the ones who gave me the most assets. Everybody else was a bunch of smaller ones. PAS is Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And I probably had at a given time between 20 to 25, but someone would only have like 4 or 5. I had one that was a Bank of Ohio.
Yeah.
And they gave me 3 assets in 2 years, but I was on their list, and they only ended up with 3 assets before they went under and got bought out by New York Bank of Mellon. And then that company is actually like a subsidiary of like Bank of America. Yeah. And so then since I already had B of A, I lost that account because I couldn't double, it was hard. And then because at the time I was at Prudential, Freddie Mac would only give one person an account in the whole company. Yeah. So even if I wanted to get no matter how close I wasn't the guy that was going to get that.
Is it just for the whole company or just that one franchise?
Well, the whole franchise, like all of Prudential. And Prudential had 5 offices. So I think it was Woolston that had the contract.
I thought Cameron had one too, didn't he?
Not the Freddie Mac. It was one. I think it was Freddie.
Oh, was it Freddie?
It was only one that had it, just like the HUD. Like HUD, Joe Iucci and I think Thomas Rucci at one time were the 2 that had it, and they basically divided the valley. Like everything to the right of the 15 was like Rucci, everything to the left of 15 was Iucci. Yeah. Right? But they were like old school. They were original. They did REOs, they did BPOs. That was the other thing. You used to be able to sign up to the bank's BPO when you were called broker price opinion.
So that's how you kind of like work your way in.
Yeah, back in the day, that was the easiest way, and you can show that after they foreclose on the property, how close you get the asset because you won the broker price opinion on it, and la. That's how it used to work. Well, there was so many that they couldn't even get to it. I remember getting one from Paz. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and they were like, "Yeah, I need the BPO on these properties by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning." Gave me like 17 properties. It's 8 o'clock at night, and you require to go to every property.
So basically, did you leave that night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Of course you did. Yeah.
How much were you getting paid for BPOs?
$50.
Damn, that's it. I think I would have thought like $150, man.
Nah, man, they didn't pay because they already knew that you were working your ass off to try to get the asset. So you just be happy you got paid.
Yeah, that's
half the time, there's some companies out there that don't pay you. They're like, oh, we need a BPO, and you'd go there, take a picture, and check occupancy, yada yada yada, and then 2 months later, you see the listing pop up in somebody else's name. You're like, oh man.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, but
now when I got into the market was at the end of 2009, and that's when I bought my first home. And I remember when I got licensed, as I was coming in, people were like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you becoming a real estate agent? I was like, look, man, if I become a real estate agent now, right, it doesn't matter what happens because I ain't making no money anyway right now. You know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of like dumb and stupid. I was just like, you know what? This is what I want to do. I just want to do it. I want to make a living, you know, as an investor. And I was like, hey, what's the best way to get in? Why not become a real estate agent? So that way you could have access to the multiple listing services. So that was the best thing has ever happened to me. And I remember the first company I went to go hang my license with, and the company was Meridius Realty Group at that time.
Meridius off of Flamingo?
Yeah, off of Flamingo, man. That was my spot. And I remember my broker, and at that time, Michael Hutchins, right? He was like telling me this. He goes, if you can weather this storm, how hard it is now, when the market is good, you're going to do just fine. And he goes like this. Here's a list of 1,900 numbers. Call them. I was like, what do I say? Just figure it out. And I just started calling.
Okay.
And you know what? Started building that skill.
In the trenches.
Yep, in the trenches. Like, just kept stumbling. But you know what? I was just dialing for dollars, you know, doing open houses, knocking on doors. And this is when there were over 19,000 properties on the market. 19,000.
Insane.
And I remember you could buy a 5-bedroom home out in the north side for $98,000.
Yeah, you can get one brand new back then at the time.
Yes, $98,000. And back then I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. Who the hell would buy this? But if you ran the numbers, the cash flow was unbelievable.
Double digits.
Yes.
Double-digit cash flow.
And there were investors that, you know, bought during the crash. You know, they messed up. And we talked about this earlier where a lot of investors had 20 properties, right? What we would do is we would do a strategic short sale.
Yep.
Right? We would all play the game because that's what I tell all my viewers. Real estate is just a game. That's all this is.
Monopoly, but real.
Yes. And you just got to play the game. And basically they liquidated certain assets. Their credit went to shit. But what happened was after 2 years, credit went right back up. And you know what? They bought in the perfect timing. Was it 2013, 2014? And this is when all the other hedge funds were coming back out here. Now they were starting to buy everything. And then that's where we started working with hedge funds now, right?
Yep.
And we were just double ending every single deal.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, that back in the day too, the bottom of the market was 2012. The first increase was in 2012. By the end of 2012 was the first time we had an upswing in our average sales price. And that's why this hedge fund thing, people talking about buying properties being bought here. I'm like, they've been buying.
Yeah.
You know, back then,
that's a good point.
Double digit to 13 to 15% return was normal.
I know. And no, let me tell you, when I was looking at properties at that time, I'm looking at 10%, and investors were complaining yo, this is only 10%.
Yeah.
They wanted 24%, and they were getting that shit.
Yeah, like $100,000 property, get about $2,000 a month, and then they would just nickel and dime the property manager. You know, I honestly think that the shitty property management that we're going through right now, the nightmare of the property management we're having nightmares with, came from the fact that during that time they were nickel and diming all these property managers, and the fees just kept on going. So then you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
I know property managers do very well, but you pay for it. Yeah, there's a certain fee that you pay. You get what you pay for. And I think that's when it probably kind of started. But now when people are talking about the last couple of years when hedge funds are buying it up, and I'm like, that's nothing new.
Yeah.
They've been.
Yeah.
I meant for years I didn't work with a single human being wanting to live in a home. I dealt with investors and hedge funds who could give a shit about floor plan. They're like, what's the rent? How much is it going to take to turn it around and lease it? Tell me what it's going to take. How long before I get a tenant in there? That's all they cared about. It's all numbers. And nothing was below double digits. Everything was double digits.
Now, I want to fast forward today, okay? I want your perspective of what do you think is going on in the market?
Locally?
Yeah, locally, right now.
So right now, I think, right now we hit 7% rates, right? It does matter to the average home buyer.
Yeah.
Because the rent went up high enough, the investors were able to come in and get enough of a return. But realistically, 3 years ago, before the market went up, the rent wasn't going high enough for them to be able to buy because the average return was 5-6%. It wasn't beating inflation, and that's all most of these guys want to do. Yeah, right? Most of the people who have billions of dollars or millions of dollars, they want to beat inflation, so their money's making money.
That's the smart money right there.
Yeah. So then when you come to them and say return is 4.5%, you're like, shit, inflation's 5.8.
Yeah, I'm losing money.
Yeah, I'm losing money. And so it slowed down a bit, the traditional ones.
Yeah.
But then the hedge funds and the big boys came in and said, Now, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to buy everything up.
Yeah.
And then we're going to compete against ourselves and just raise the value of the entire neighborhood on our own. Because they have the capacity to raise the comps in the neighborhood.
I've seen that. Like, let me give you an example. Like Open Door, I looked at a neighborhood and I couldn't believe how many homes that they owned in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they priced it at a certain price. And
Yeah.
they were getting it because they literally dominated that whole neighborhood and they were controlling it, which is kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah. So what's happening now is we've always had a shortage of inventory. And this goes back to when you got back in the market.
Yeah.
So people always want to look at like such short vision. They look at, oh, what's happened in the last 6 months? No. For 10 years, well, actually the last decade, you saw the numbers.
Yeah.
The lowest amount of homes ever built by new homes was between 2010 to 2019. There was except to 1930s. The last time we built this little amount of a home was in the 1930s. Are you telling me the fucking population has been the same since 1930?
No.
It's
Population has grown so rapidly. Like I always tell all the viewers, you have over about like 90,000 people moving to Las Vegas every single year. That's roughly about like 8 or 9, or actually 8 to 10 people every hour that's literally moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah, so when you look back at what's happening in the market now in the shortage, and we keep telling people it's a shortage, no matter what the builders have done the last 5 or 6 years, it's 2023 now, so the last 7 years, they've kind of picked it up a little bit. You've noticed it.
Yeah.
You do new home tours. When you first started, bro, how hard was it to find like a new home that was it like almost, they weren't building you started in 2000. When did you start doing YouTube videos of homes?
I think towards the end of 2018.
Yeah, so the
video home tours.
Yeah, but before that you were on YouTube, like some older videos.
Yeah, some older videos, but I wasn't really doing like home tours. I was just kind of like just into video, so I was just trying to integrate that with real estate.
Yeah.
There wasn't really that many.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when the global financial crisis happened, the builders didn't have the money to build. They didn't have the capital. What Vegas had, besides 19,000 fucking listings, was probably just as much dirt lots.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have the capacity to build. So they weren't building. There was almost like a building freeze. I want people to look in the MLS or look in your histories. Find it. You guys are research people. Find out how many houses were built between 2008 to 2015. Look at that fucking number and compare it from 2015 to 2020. You're going to be like, holy shit, they weren't building anything.
Yeah.
Right? There was a point where I remember in the north, Lennar stopped building. They sold it to Polte. Polte then never built anything for 2 years and sold it to KB. But they weren't selling houses. They were selling dirt lots. Yeah. Inspirada was supposed to be like all 100% like a Toll Brothers community. Yeah. Market crash. Who did they sell it to? KB bought some, started building with guidelines that they couldn't build the homes they were normally building. And then they began selling to like Pardee, and then there was a couple of Harmony. They had to start selling the lots. But realistically, that's what it was. Had no capital. So then fast forward that, people weren't not moving to Vegas. People were still moving to Vegas. Jobs were still opening. Casinos were still opening. Jobs were plentiful. Fast forward that like 9 years later, we have this massive shortage, and somehow people think that in a blink of an eye, we're going to have all these houses. Well, we don't. We have the jobs. We have the people. We don't have the housing capacity.
So the reason why we have such a short supply is because of all the people that are moving out here. And the reason why all the people are moving out here is because of the migration patterns. Why are they moving out here, right? We take a look because of the jobs, the weather,
income
the
tax
benefits, right? So that's kind of like the leading force of what's going on, right? So when the unemployment starts dropping here, then that's probably a leading indicator to take a look. But then if we even look even further, right, what's causing all this? What is that procuring cause? It's tourism. We have over 42 billion people, 42 million people visiting Las Vegas every single year. So that's where you kind of really look at the statistics. When those numbers starts to decline, then you'll probably start losing some jobs. And when you start losing some jobs and you're going to start losing where people start to move here, then the housing will shrink. So until then, we're probably pretty good, which is fascinating to me because everybody's like, I'm going to wait till the housing market crashes. Okay. I'm going to wait till the housing market crashes. Guys, I want the housing market to crash too because I want to get paid. Yeah. That's the reason why I did this. However, today we have the number and the statistics. Wait till the second half and wait till I show you what's going on right now with the numbers. It's going to baffle your mind.
This is not magic numbers. But people always say prediction, right? And it's guessing. So people like to say, they bring up like people who are wealthy and say, well, he said this. So that's fantastic. Well, I'm glad that Mr. What's his name is, well off and rich. he's worth, you know, 100 million. Well, here's a company that's worth, you know, $210 billion or 200 million, $1 billion, and he's buying all these properties, or he's building here. Commercially, go to the Las Vegas tourism, go to the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. Look what businesses, look what buildings are built. Look how much billions of dollars, billions, not millions, billions of dollars is being poured into the city, and go, all right, so when is it going to stop? When is the job decline? Is it when they're done building our second and third stadium? Is it when they're done building the MSG Sphere? Is it when they're done building the massive Fontainebleau that was the biggest eyesore on the Strip? When are they going to stop doing that? Or is it when they stop building the commercial that's happening everywhere? Or is it the shopping in the Northwest? Or is it the military that's expanding their contractors out here? When is it stopping? Just let me know when it stops, because the concerts aren't stopping. The tourism isn't stopping. And this is not numbers we're making up. It says people are coming here, right? It says people are visiting here. It says we're building more to be able to accommodate. Mm-hmm. Look at the pricing for Formula One. You think you can get that kind of money?
They're literally building a casino for that Formula One right off of Harmon, which I used to go there in the hood. I don't want to say hood because I'm a real estate agent. That's the bad word. But y'all know what I mean.
Low to moderate income.
Yeah, no. This is like back in the day, like 20 years ago, when I used to go party, you know, smoke the weed and, you know, do all that stuff. I don't do that stuff anymore, so I don't condone that stuff. However, they literally
now that it's legal, you don't condone it?
Yeah, I don't.
Like I condone. I did it when it was illegal. Now that it's legal, don't do it.
Yeah, that shit's not good for you, man. That clouds your mind. It slows your process. You know what I'm saying? Hard work pays off. Don't let that shit cloud your mind. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. What was
you said? You used to go in the hood. I'm sorry. You used to go in a community that was less than developed, and now they have casinos and millions of dollars.
So my point is that they are building, and they're just spending a lot of money on infrastructure out here, dude. Okay, look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but if you got Fortune 500 companies and you got companies that have billions of dollars and they're investing, don't you think they have a group of people that's doing an economic study?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
You don't just build a casino right off the 215 on Durango and spend over $1 billion to build something like that unless you do your research.
Yeah, that particular area is going to be the halfway point between people. At that point, it was Red Rock was the only closest higher end, nicer casino. That's going to take some of the business, but it's the same company.
Yeah.
Same company.
I think what it is a lot of people just listen to the news and like, you know, shit's going to hit the fan, which, I mean, eventually whatever goes up will come down. But the question is, you know, you have cyclical markets and linear markets, right? And you have to take a look at the markets, right? This is one of those markets where a lot of people come out here for the lifestyle, right? The cost of living, where it's located. Yeah. We're within the Sun Belt, you know what I mean? It's like people don't want to shovel snow anymore.
Hell no.
So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if it does crash, how much is it going to crash? Honestly, I don't ever seeing it dropping down to like 30 cents on the dollar. I mean, if it ever did, at that point, I think it would be like a world currency collapse.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's like doom and gloom.
So I did a video on my IG one time because somebody wanted to argue with me. I said, look.
Like they wanted to fight you?
Yeah, they want to argue all the time. Yeah, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So, you know, but, you know, they wanted to argue. And I said, look, if you're looking for a crash similar to 2008, 6 and 8, you're also, that's not going to be a housing thing. It's a global financial collapse. That means people have lost their jobs. They have to unload their properties. You ain't going to have a fucking job no more.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking like, oh man, I can't wait. Like your ass ain't going to have a job. So how are you going to buy that house? If you can't buy a house right now because you don't think it's financially stable for you or it doesn't make any financial sense, then what makes you think you're going to be able to make that? Then it's not going to make sense to you. If the market dropped 20%, though the same people are going to be like, well, I'll wait for it to go to 30.
Yeah.
I'll wait for 40. And then eventually starts going up again. They go like, oh, no, it's going to go down again. And 10 years from now, they're still going to be renting going, I'm waiting for the next collapse.
It's like, what do you think happened to like 18,000 homes when they had to do short sales and foreclosures? They all played the game, right? They all repositioned.
Yeah.
That's all it is, bro.
When we talked about it, money doesn't really disappear.
Yeah.
It just gets reallocated.
Yeah.
Where did the money go?
Correct.
Right? That's all there is to it. So where are you putting your money? If you make, I know people who make 60,000 who live a good life because they balance their budget. They watch where their money goes. Yeah. I know people who make 150,000 who can't fill up their fucking gas tank if a check doesn't come through.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's happening? You live in the same city. You have the same. It's just they don't balance it right. It's just a balancing game. the market is going to be the way it is. You always got to live somewhere. But I've been arguing for people what they call the bears, who've been predicting a market crash. I've been predicting it for what, 7-8 years now?
Well, eventually the market will crash. That's why you keep predicting it.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna crash.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's too many people listening to that without actual facts. They nitpick something.
Yeah.
You remember when the number
People
came
like
out
to
last
listen
year?
to what they want to hear.
But last year when the number came out that says it was a 300% increase in foreclosures, people are like, oh, fuck, here we go. Here we go. It was like, it went from like 37 to 130.
Yeah.
You fucking telling me 130 houses foreclosures is going to impact the market? Get the fuck out. They probably sold all 137 at the footsteps of the courthouse.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I got calls. They're like, hey, I want to buy a bunch of foreclosures and bank-owned properties. I'm like, dude, there ain't nothing on the MLS, bro. Relax.
Yeah, there's a here's what you don't realize. On the MLS, there's a thing that says foreclosure, yes or no.
Yeah.
Look for it. Go ahead and find it. Listen, more power to you.
Yeah.
If you can find a good deal, but that's also the difference. Like even the flippers, right?
And let me interrupt you for a second because I think this is important. Because here's the thing: if we had a bunch of bank-owned properties, do you think they're just going to give it away?
Hell
no. The asset manager looks at the current value. If it's at $450, they're not going to sell it to you for like $200,000
Because they have time.
Yes.
There's a shortage of inventory, so they have the time.
Correct.
I've seen that. There was a couple of short sales where I had to negotiate. Rare, but there was actually short sale that popped up, and I was looking at it going, "Well, let's offer them." Nope, we got outbid.
Yeah.
It's everybody wants a deal, but what's defined as a deal is a different story.
Yeah, everybody has their own deal. Now, there was a time where I did a short sale where we paid one price, and the short sale took so long for us to do it, and I was representing the seller and the buyer at the same time. And this was actually an attorney, right, at the time. It was his house for his kid. And basically, guess what happened? Asset manager came back and said, we want more money. I said, why do you want more money? I'm giving you full asking price. We're currently under contract. You know what he said? Hey, we ran the comps and the property went up on price. So it went up another 4%. So if you don't pay us 4% more,
we'll just put it back in the market.
Put it back on the market. And now it becomes an approved short sale. Now that just becomes a regular transaction at that point, right? And basically I spent 6 months to do all the work trying to double end the deal. Come to find out my buyer's pissed off at me. He's like, I want to sue the bank. I'm like, bro, you're not going to sue the bank, dude.
No.
There's just no way.
No.
But what I want to do is I want to take a quick commercial break. This is great information. So hang tight, guys.
Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation today. Is your credit score holding you back from purchasing a home? GC Credit Coaches is a repair company that's made easy. Their goal is to challenge and remove all negative errors that hurt your credit score. On average, GC clients see about 10.2 negative items removed over 4 months. Start improving your credit score today with a simple 2-minute online enrollment for a free consultation and a complete credit audit. GC Credit Coaches offers competitive monthly pricing, no contracts, no hidden fees, and the service stops once you are satisfied. GC Credit Coaches removes inquiries, collections, charge-off bankruptcies, and repossessions. Don't forget to visit gccreditcoaches.com.
Attention contractors, remodelers, and homeowners. Is your renovation becoming a pain in the glass? Here at Glass Vegas, we take care of all of your glass needs, from a broken window to custom shower doors, mirrors, winding closures, storefronts, railings, and much more. We can even help you with new or replacement thermally broken windows. We're a full-service, woman-owned glass company that provides unparalleled workmanship, excellent communication, and great customer service. Glass Vegas, we do glass with class.
All right, guys, we are back. with the LV Home Experts podcast. This is where we talk about real estate and financing. Welcome back to the second half of the show. My man SHERWIN with The Agency, real estate advisor. He is also a real estate agent. I don't know why we have the word advisor, but it does sound cool, so I'm going to start to steal that.
Are we just going to skip the fact that you should have a thing where people have to guess what color your hair is since you're wearing a hat today, and then they win like a Starbucks gift card if they figure out if it's pink, green, yellow, purple.
I did dye my hair today. Do you guys want to guess what color my hair is? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, Tony Hsieh.
Yep.
Remember Tony Hsieh, right?
The man who tried to rebuild and revitalize downtown Las Vegas, brought life to a place that I thought was going to be pretty much a $20 hooker paradise for life.
But you know what sucks is that after he had passed away, with all his assets, it looks like they literally sold 9 of his properties. That's kind of messed up, man. You're the CEO of Zappos. You built like $1 billion company. You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You have a vision. I think he took a total of $350 million and gave it to the city. I think it was like $200,000. $200,000 was allocated towards like downtown to revitalize. Another $50 million was $200 million. Then another $50 million was for like small businesses. Then he bought the was it downtown?
There was the old
City Hall or something like that.
The City Hall is the IRS building.
I forget. It was so long ago.
It was a federal building. Yeah.
So he turned that into Zappos, and you know what? I was like, you know what? He's doing actually the right thing. And you know, unfortunately, he had passed away, and it looks like they're just liquidating everything. That's kind of messed up.
They can't manage it because to them it's about money and bottom line. Where Tony was all about like doing good and doing right. Yeah. And then the money will just come afterwards. Yeah. You know, I mean, but if you think about it, it's kind of sad what happened to him towards the end. I mean, it's like. He was about, you know, what is it? The happy. It was his book was about happiness, and they just kept on changing. And he put so much money in downtown. The Ogden is probably one of the reasons why it's there because of him. Yeah. But one thing that was underrated that was not money involved was he was trying to bring the tech business to Vegas. Take some away from the Dallas, Fort Worth, or Austin. Take it away from like other states. But he just.
I didn't think he had enough manpower and money to do all that, dude.
He didn't have the educational, like, we don't have the structure for it. Yeah. And let's just be honest about it, right? Yeah. You need software engineering. You need to build it from the root up. If somebody was going to talk about, like, hotel management and business management, UNLV. Yeah. Untouchable. Yeah. But when you start talking software engineering, we didn't have it. I don't know if they have it now.
But it was kind of fascinating, you know, literally down Fremont Street, right? Which is, I've owned a couple of properties because of this gentleman down, you know, because of him. And this is, you know, back during the crash. And, you know, I bought a lot of properties in, what's that zip code? 89109, I think it is, right? The historic downtown, just right off of Fremont, like, you know, all the way from like 5th Street, all the way down to like 20th Street. And I bought a lot of properties. And believe it or not, I was buying properties that were $19,000.
I believe it.
$19,000. And when I first drove by there, I was like, yo, this is kind of freaking scary. This is like
rough,
like a rough neighborhood. Then when this dude started coming around, he started like just buying everything up. Yeah. And I could like see pricing going up. And what was charming about these neighborhoods, right? And this is like the type of neighborhoods when, you know, we didn't have that big Las Vegas strip, right? It was just downtown, right? Which is like Fremont Street. And this is like where all the gangsters live. And this is when they had the casinos, right? And this is where all the employees used to live, just in this area. And that's how they would go to work, right? They would just commute right up the road. Now, a lot of these homes were built in the early, you know, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
They were older.
And you would literally have to go and rehab these homes. However, a lot of people and a lot of investors were going in and rehabbing them. And they started like revitalizing these neighborhoods. And there was actually incentives that you could use.
There was, yeah.
I never took advantage of that. I never went down that rabbit hole. But, you know, I've invested a lot of money into downtown. And I've made a hell of a return. Yeah. I still own a couple. Down there, but
the Airbnbs?
Oh no, these are just regular rental properties. Okay. I'm talking about you spent 19 grand, you know, to purchase the property, and I threw another like 50 or 60,000 into it. And these things are like cash cows. Oh yeah, and it's kind of hard to get rid of.
Yeah, easy money is hard to say no to, right?
But I did get rid of one just because the offer was just so good, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna reposition my portfolio, but that's a whole different story. My point here is that this gentleman has done a lot for the community. Yep. And I just kind of feel bad that, you know, that legacy doesn't live on.
You know, at the end of the day, they can't hang on to those properties forever. I mean, look at Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, you can't.
Siegfried and Roy is selling their like, we never thought they'd go anywhere. Up north, they had the habitat, right? It was supposed to be when William Lyons bought up there, the rule was there was this massive habitat and park. And I sold there. I remember, I still know the name of the street, White Tiger.
White Tiger.
Yeah. And so behind it was Siegfried and Roy's sanctuary.
Yeah.
And you were never supposed to build there, and like, but then times are changing, and now guess what? They're building back there. Now they're building houses. And now it's supposed to be this beautiful little landscaping and sanctuary. Same thing for Tony's. What's he gonna do with it, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna really like.
I guess once you're dead, you're dead. It doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
What's he gonna do with it? I just hope that they continue to like put money back into the downtown area.
I think they are though.
Yeah.
I think they're selling it, and they're going to probably do something.
What's the word you use? Reposition.
Yeah, there you go.
Reposition.
No, repossession.
Repossession now.
Repossession.
But
The
he has a street
repossession.
named after him, which is one of the best things you can have. That will never go away, right? There's Tony Hsieh Way, which is just amazing. So,
which is the price has gone up so high, it doesn't even make sense to buy a property down there anymore.
No, but I mean that's where all a massive amount of like what they call. I'm seeing a lot of character in those communities though.
Oh yeah,
that and west of downtown where the old like Rancho.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Beautiful because it's not
They're
every
like
house looks the same.
Yeah, like on Rancho, there's like $1 million homes over there, bro.
Absolutely.
And the lot sizes are like half an acre. Yeah, they're huge.
Because it's mid-century modern and they have character. I know I hate to say that,
but
word,
you got to go in and you got to rehab these things though, and it's not cheap. But there are some pretty dope homes. But I think we're so like used to like master plan communities. Everything's all the same.
New.
Yeah,
Everybody's
new.
afraid of new, but everybody wants new, warranty, whatever. But it's just, it gives you more, because more people are coming here from California and they see that a lot more. You'll notice that a lot of them are looking for that. I'm tired of the HOA. I'm tired of cookie cutter. Give me something, at least the high net worth clients. High net worth don't really want to buy a cookie cutter.
No, they don't.
Why? Makes no sense to anyone.
They want to buy something dope and that's like very unique.
You give them a story, they'll pay twice the price. Now, thanks to the lack of internet and the way we keep secrets out here in Vegas, we can make up any fucking story we want and be like, yeah, Al Capone lived here and had sex with Madonna.
Yeah, he drove by. He drove by. Yeah, he drove by this house.
Yeah, he shot through this window. So
North Las Vegas, right? Sinking. North Las Vegas neighborhood concerns residents. The North Las Vegas City Council, I guess 2023, right, to 2024, the fiscal budget, they were supposed to give these residents some money to relocate their home because apparently there is, I guess the dirt or something like that is like,
they're shrinking basically.
Yeah, I think it's under what are those things called? It's not a sinking hole, but I forget the name of it. It's not Fisher. It's like these water lines that go down like in the earth. I forget the name of it, but anyway, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, a lot of these homes are cracking the foundation, but this has been going on for some time.
It happened in the Northwest, remember, over by Centennial Hills, like about 15 years ago. I
don't want to mention the builder because I don't want to get sued or anything, but recently this just happened. Yeah. And I don't want to mention the builder, but however, how do you get like inspections on that, right? Like if you're buying a house, I mean, like how do you know, like how does all that work?
So this is where like some of the lawsuits are going to happen. But what happened is you're supposed to do an environmental survey.
Yeah, which is they probably did.
They did because you have to provide that when you buy a new home. They have the environmental survey
and the soil report.
But who knows how to read that shit?
Yeah, and not only that, if I did read the soil report, which is kind of funny. If you read the soil report, it says.
How bored were you to read a fucking soil report?
That's my job, bro. Anyway, the soil.
My job. Yeah. You also read the gaming map, right? You studied that really good too, right?
Yeah, Even though I'm a chronic gambler, I love to play craps. But anyway, the soil report says that when they did the soil report, it's within the perimeters of the area of that master plan or that community that the builder had bought. So it's not physically your parcel that they are doing a soil sample, which is kind of fascinating to me because you would think like each parcel would have some sort of soil report.
That would get too expensive. But here's the thing. That's why they build post-tension slabs. It's supposed to be able to, the house is supposed to shift, but
also you do make a good point because these homes were built in the early 60s and 50s, which is not post-tension slab. So once the soil starts to erode away, especially with the rain, obviously it's going to crack. But a lot of these residents, they're not moving out, right? what they're trying to do is fight to say, hey, give me some money. However, there is some money allocated where if you actually own the property free and clear, they will give you some of the money, right? Now, if you still have a mortgage on it, they're willing to pay, you know, your mortgage off. I don't know how true that is, but from what I'm reading, that's what it sounds like. But a lot of people just don't want to move. They're just like, we're just going to stay here. But also, you have to take a look at the area because area is really based upon income level. Let's be real. You know, people talk about segregation. Honestly,
that was a segregated part of Vegas.
Yeah, segregation is really based upon income level. Let's just be real.
Yep.
Right? And here, they probably make like less than like $25,000 a year. Where are they going to move?
Exactly.
I mean, you have homes nowadays. The median price point for a home is $450,000. I didn't want to tell you guys that earlier, but because I wanted to go through the statistics here. But I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But
here's the thing. You're right. It's about income and where they're going to be able to move to. It's you know, quote unquote income. That's where they live. That's their home. People always go, why don't you just get up and move? Sometimes you can't afford it. It's your comfort level. It's your home. It's where else are you going to go? So there's shit out. It's a tough position to be in. Yeah. Because you can't afford to move, but you also probably at one point you can't afford to live there.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? So here's another fascinating story that I came across. It says, out of Las Vegas, interest in Las Vegas is dropping, and so are the rents. So basically, if we take a look right now, okay, if we look at like Enterprise, right, it's actually down 5.3%. SUMMERLIN is down 4.1%. Henderson is down 3.7%.
Rent, right?
Yeah, rent. We're just talking about rent.
Yeah.
So that tells me that people are not renting. So does that mean they're buying and they're not coming on out here?
Or they're not renewing, right? And they're just either moving in, decided that they're no longer going to buy. Here's what the other factor of it, though, right? We talked about the massive amount of increase in rent in year over year. I like to compare year over year, but 2022 was an outlier. Yeah. With the amount of homes that we sold in 2021 and part of 2022 because of the unreasonable historical rates. So people were just buying to buy, and people were also working remotely. And then some of those companies have decided that, oh, we changed our mind. You can no longer work remote, so you got to come back or lose your job. But look at the numbers real quick. You say 3.3%. What was the average? Was it 2,500? Now it's only 24, 25? Like, what is 3% of a $2,500 a month rent? $75?
Yeah, that's not that much.
So is that really going to make an impact on somebody's budget?
So it sounds like this is some fear-mongering shit going on?
You got to compare it. Like, I always like to look at like a decade long, right?
With an average rent of $1,430 a month, the national average is $1,660. So what does that tell you?
We're still lower than the national average.
There you go. So for a one bedroom is $1,000.
Where is this fucking one bedroom? What is this at?
Hey, I'm just reading the reports, bro. Don't shoot the messenger. $1,300 for a two bedroom.
We both know that's full of shit, right? You know damn well that has a bunch of fourplexes in the hood for like $1,000, fucking up the average.
Three bedroom units are roughly about $1,800 or over, just depending on the location, which is still kind of high at that point. You know what I mean? So that kind of teeter-tots. You know, should I be buying a $450,000 home and paying a $2,200 monthly mortgage? So it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, again, the question is going to be is when somebody says, oh my God, rent in Summerlin is down 5%. Well, shit, what if the average rent on a four-bedroom home in Summerlin was $3,000 a month? 5% is roughly what, $150? So
yeah,
instead of $3,000, it's $2,850.
Yeah, you're still making your money.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Like for the average person saying, I'm going to reduce your monthly rent by $150. Great. But everything else has skyrocketed over the last 24 months anyway. So that 150 was gone. It's not going to do shit for me.
Well, I think people need to understand how this works, okay? So people have to have a place to live.
Absolutely.
There's only two directions you can go. You can rent or you can buy, okay? When the interest rates are low and it makes sense to buy, people buy a home. So you have all those homes buying, right? Everybody's buying homes. Then when it comes to the point where homes are getting so expensive, right? They look at their mortgage because it's so expensive. Like, you know what? Maybe I can rent. Now the rents go up because now you're forcing the rents to go up. Now, once the rents go up a little bit higher, now they turn to maybe it's probably a good time to buy a home because we're going to stay here, and it keeps going up. So it just kind of like goes against themselves. You know what I'm saying?
People always look at that, and it's all economics. You said it. You're studying it yourself, economics. So you just start looking at average income. What's it been doing year over year? 9% increase. Yeah. 6 to 9% increase. 8% increase.
Which is we're roughly about $78,000 a year right now for the city of Las Vegas.
Which is insane. You know, there's parts in California where the house is about $300,000 more expensive, but the average income is $25,000, $30,000 less. and they got to pay state income tax. So you wonder why they're moving here? That's easy. Somebody making, let's say, $200,000 a year in Cali has to pay 10% in tax. That's $20,000 a year. My math tells me that's at least, what, $1,500, $1,700 a month in taxes. So then they can come here and go,
I can get a house.
I don't mind paying $3,000 a month because $1,700 of it was going to taxes anyway. That's like $1,300 out of pocket for me. Yeah. I'll take $3,000 a month. And that's what's happening. Yeah. It's slowed down because who always makes the first moves? The ones with money, the ones who can. The separation between the have and have-nots is getting bigger and bigger, right? Yeah. So the ones who are capable of moving, moved. And so the ones who needed time to either save money or find a job or, those kind of move their assets around who require time, they're the ones taking a little bit longer. So therefore, it's not as much fluctuating anymore. It's a little slower movement. We can talk about cars. If somebody was going to sell you a car that's worth $50,000, they're going to sell it to you for $30,000, right? There's only a handful of people, and they said it has to be cash, it has to be the next 24 hours. There's only a handful of people that can really pull that trigger to make that money. So the ones who have the money can pull the trigger and go, you know what, I'm going to buy that.
It's a great deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal. I'm going to buy it. I mean, 24 hours, I'll wire the money, have a good day. If that happened 1,000 times, there's about probably 800 people who can do that. Yeah. The last 200, it's going to take a little longer time. I need to get a loan. I need to talk to a couple people. By the time that deal starts happening, that house, that car may be like, you know what? You took too long. It's now $40,000. Yeah. Now 40. It's time. Like people who have the means move fast. That's why the people moving here have slowed down the average buyer is not going to be buying as much because the ones who had the means have already made the move. People with money make decisions fast for the most part. They pull the trigger because they see an opportunity. They take advantage of it.
That's a good point. A lot of people do. A lot of people with money, they're really smart with their money. They know what's going on, and if there's an opportunity, they'll make the move.
But they have the money. They have the capacity to take a risk, right? They have the capacity to take a risk. So they do it, and they move a lot faster. Remember when California enacted their damn millionaires tax, like your income over $1 million, 13%?
That's crazy.
We had people coming here. We're like, I need an address here.
6 months and 1 day. I live out here.
I have people who are looking to buy houses here that absolutely have to move here before the end of May. Yeah. Why? This was 2 months ago. Because they need at least minimum of 6 months. So they got to be by May. So that there's no question that I'm here by June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So I can say I'm here 7 months and I can tell California to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is I was dealing with a millionaire, same situation.
Timeline, right?
And also, he was also worried about the new laws being passed that if he did move on out here, they can still tax him and chase him out here, for his money, which is kind of crazy, like what's going on out there. And the more that they do this kind of stuff, all they're doing is pushing people out of their city.
Yeah. And then we laugh about it a little bit like, oh, they're doing horrible things. But you know what? If California pricing in like major cities like LA, Orange County, freaking San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego, if it dropped 40%, we'd probably lose 200,000 people in the city. They'll be like,
we're going back.
I'm going back because affordability just changed all of a sudden.
Not only that, the lifestyle out in LA is completely different out here. I was out there last week, bro.
You almost want to move, huh?
Dude, like the beach, Newport Beach, I'm out there. I'm like, yo, you know what? I can walk around with slippers and surf shorts all day long, dude.
It's called the sunshine tax is what they call it. People who live there, it's called the sunshine. It's a lifestyle. But that's also why we have so many people who move here is because it's close enough. Yeah. It's close enough. We get how many flights? Somebody on your podcast tell me how many flights fly from Vegas to a California city every day.
And you know what? I looked this up. Flights like Southwest, I think it was like round trip, like $90-something.
Yeah, if you book it 2-3 weeks in advance and there's no major event. Don't be telling people. They're going to try to hey, Chucky, I tried to leave on a Sunday and it was not. No, you can't leave fucking Vegas on a Sunday and get a good deal. Everybody's leaving Vegas on a Sunday.
Or come on a Friday, too.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah. I was listening to, it was an Ice Cube song from like 25 years ago. Yeah, yeah. And it goes like Vegas on a Friday. Mm-hmm. Even 25, 30 years ago, people were making Vegas runs on a weekend. Mm-hmm. It hasn't stopped. It never stopped. And so what makes you think that all of a sudden people start coming? If you're going to come to Vegas and you want it to be not so busy, don't come on a Friday.
Don't come on a Friday.
End of story. Listen, everything is open in Vegas almost all week long. All the shows. We have like one dark day on all the clubs.
Now, I can tell you what. One thing that I've noticed, right, living here now for about 22 years, things are closing a little bit faster. And I think it has to do with, not enough employees. I'm talking about like, we got to go have dinner before like freaking 9 o'clock because certain places like close pretty quickly. A lot of places used to open like 24 hours, just like my grocery store.
Fuck COVID.
It's it's no longer 24 hours.
We're gonna blame COVID for everything. Remember?
Hey, we got to get groceries before like 10 o'clock before it closes.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what the hell? And I think what's happening is because of inflation is so high now, and a lot of millennials and the new generation now, they don't want to work for like $12 an hour, dude. They're like, yo, you know what? This is small money. And that's part of the problem. And, you know, these companies can't pay, you know, these millennials more money because they just go broke, especially the mom and pop shops. And you have to understand the backbone of our economy is really
Small businesses.
Yeah, small businesses. So it's kind of like a catch-22.
It is. I mean, we're Asian, so there's a huge population of 7. It's AAPI month for anybody who doesn't know. That's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. 70% of AAPIs own their own businesses.
Yeah.
Technically, you're self-employed. I'm self-employed,
Yeah.
right? And so it matters to us, these little shifts and differences, this income.
No, it does.
And so you're right. We probably shouldn't be paying people $12 an hour to do work that we're not willing to do for $12 an hour.
Yeah.
But we also have global, right?
Yeah.
We have, you know, whether we're outsourcing our assistants or outsourcing certain things. The problem we're going to run into is people just, I can't say they don't want to work. It's just people want to work, but they want to work towards something.
Yeah.
But if they're making X amount that doesn't really lead to shit, why would you work?
Well, exactly. I think people start to understand they know their value. Like, look, if I'm only making $12, $15 an hour,
you're going to get $12 an hour worth of work from me.
Exactly. And trust me, I was that guy. Like, when I first moved here, I probably had 36 jobs, and I got fired from every single job. And I didn't care because I already knew, like, this is not a career job.
God damn it, were you the immigrant that took the job that nobody wanted?
Yes, basically. Dude, I went from one job to another job, and people are like, dude, you don't care? Like, no, I don't, because this is not a career for me. I don't want to be a pool guy for the rest of my life. I don't want to be a bar back for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
And I still have friends till this day, man. They're in their mid-40s, and they're still working at a freaking nightclub. I'm like, yo, man, I don't even know how you do it.
I guess the money's good, or they're getting paid in other ways. Anyway.
Hey, I want to go over the market stats real quick, and I think this is important.
Bread and butter.
Yes, so as of today, for detached single-family residents, we currently have 3,522 properties currently available on the market, which is
nothing.
That is nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy because people are like, I'm going to wait for this market to crash. But on the flip side, when you go out and you show properties, believe it or not, I'm writing multiple offers. And if we're writing offers fast enough, we're going to get beat out of the deal. The median price point for a home in today's market, $450,000.
Is that the closing or the listing?
Say again.
Is that the closing price or the listing price?
Closing price.
Shit, it jumped.
That's what I'm saying. We literally went from 485, dropped all the way down to 420, went to 430, went to 440. Now we're at 455.
Yeah, the biggest thing was the end of 2022, 2021, average sales price was at 425. And I pointed this out.
Yeah.
The end of 2022, we were at 425. I said, we are at a stalemate.
Yes.
We are at a frozen market. And people thought, oh, you're fucking crazy. What the fuck are you talking about? And now it's like, oh, you were right. I go, look, I wasn't predicting the market, jackass. I was telling you where the numbers were, and you were getting mad at me like I was the one who fucking did it. Like, no.
Dude,
the
it's so
market
simple.
is frozen.
It's so simple because, look, the math never lies, and we can collect our data. But you know what's funny? And I don't want to dog all these real estate agents out there, but you guys need to understand this. Look, you guys need to be a master of your craft, and you all need to know what the hell is going on. You should be pulling this data on a weekly basis, and you need to know your market very well. So that way you can guide and advise your clients, okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you. There's sometimes I talk to an agent. They have no clue what's going on. However, they're good at sales, but you also need to understand what's going on. And the point that I'm trying to get across here is that if you're going to work with a real estate agent, make sure they know what's going on because it's so important. I literally had a call from a client that she was working with another real estate agent, and they were doing a new home sales. They're currently under contract. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. And she's contacting me. I'm like, yo, I can't even speak to you. We have a fiduciary responsibility. You need to contact your agent, right? And she was like going on and telling me this story. I'm like, look, I can't help you. You need to have a conversation with your agent.
Yep.
Right? They should be guiding you. But anyway, the average days on the market. This is so fascinating to me. Okay. Everybody's like, the market is going to crash. Okay. Look, I understand. I play both sides. I look at both sides.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what's going on right now, guys. 20 days on the market.
Market shifting.
20 days on the market. That is freaking fast, dude. Freaking fast. So
but here's the thing. There's houses sitting on the market. So to get to the average of 20, you got to have 1,000 selling within 2 days and 1,000 selling in like 5 months.
That's a good point.
That's the thing about average.
Now, the other thing is that I went back the last 30 days and I want to see like where is that sweet spot, right? As far as average days on the market. So we already know 450,000 and below is 20 days on the market.
Gone.
Now, if we look at 500,000 to $1 million is 25 days. From 1 million to 2 million is 23 days. 1 million to 2 million.
They're moving quick.
Bro, who the hell has $2 million that you can just go out and buy a home? Like,
they're there.
You know what this means?
Did Bitcoin go up? Is that what it is? Did Bitcoin go? I'm just.
No, what this means is that there's a big shift in a wealth gap. People now got some real money.
Yep.
You know, $1 million 10 years ago was completely different to having $1 million now.
You did it before. $1 million homes, we average about 200 something a year, over $1 million. We broke that in the first 60 days last year.
Which is fascinating. Now, let's take a look at this. From 2 million to 3 million, 70 days on the market.
A little bit longer.
A little bit longer. Now, 3 million and up. I'm talking about super luxury at this point. 67 days. That's still not bad.
Yeah, but then what's happening is, and you'll see it when you pull properties, how many days on the market there are that they're sitting there. Because there's some that are overpricing their property still to this point, right? The luxury market. They said, you can't put a price on luxury. Bullshit, you can't. It's a big transition, and what's happening is you're going to see, again, that's that gap. You say 67. That means that there's a bunch of them, and if you have talked to Derek, there's a bunch of them moving in the first 30 days. Yeah. And there's a shit ton that's expiring and not selling at all. Yeah. That's how you're getting that average, because there's a lot expiring still. Yeah. Look at what the market looks like. Just log in at the last of the day of the month or on the first of every month. Look how many houses are expiring. There's still unreasonable sellers out there.
That's a good point. But it's just fascinating.
But it's moving.
It's still moving. And we're talking about like $15 million homes, right?
Remember when they said there was going to be 10,000 houses in the market with like 6,000 of them in forbearance?
Oh, I wish. Stop saying that. It's pissing me off right now. I made a bad decision. I should have bought more properties. But anyway, and I want to take a look at, with all the closings we have, right? What type of buyers are actually out there? And I think this is important, okay? Cash buyers right now is only 23%. Conventional buyers are 46%. FHA is 20% of the market share, and 11% is VA buyers. Reason why I bring up this point is because sometimes I'm working with a cash buyer. They hear what's going on with the news. I want $50,000 off on a $450,000 home. Make it happen. I can't make it happen, dude. Wrong guy.
Yeah. Well, no, wrong market.
Well, when I say wrong guy, like I can't work with you. I can't make that happen. I can't squeeze somebody to do that, right? Yeah. I mean, you can get deals out there, but it would have to be like off-market deals, and these deals you would have to probably throw some money to do the rehab.
But can we be upfront about people who are getting those houses or are flipping or whatever?
Yes, yes, no, please.
What happens to that? They have an entire division whose only job is to write fucking offers all day on every property.
Making calls.
And making calls all day.
Yeah, all they're doing is constantly farming, right? Constant.
Just like when you're trying to farm for a listing or a buyer. That's exactly what they have, an entire team that's their only job. They call and go, you willing to take this much? You calling? That's how, and even then, after like maybe tens of thousands of phone calls or maybe hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of offers, they may get one person who may entertain them. Yeah. So when that buyer comes to you and say, make it happen, you're like, I don't have a team.
Then also, this is what happens, okay? And these are kind of like wholesalers, right? Yeah. They sell it to you and they make a spread of like $20,000. So you still get a discount, but then your margins, by the time you rehab it,
gets cut back.
You're paying fair market value, but I mean, you got a brand new home because you rehabbed it. So it's a case-by-case basis. Now, the good news is that I have a buddy of mine that runs a whole division like that. And I just had a conversation with him today. So he's now going to send me all his properties that he's currently going to under contract with. And at that point, if you guys want the list out there, send me an email. And there's going to be certain stipulations that apply. You already have to be ready and approved, ready to go, because these are the type of deals you got to move quickly. Yep. Because what happens is I'll be able to cherry pick it, but you got to move quickly. Okay.
Yeah, what you can also do is you can subscribe to Chakits OnlyFans. It's $19.99, and every week he gives you a property that he's going to unload for that. But you got to be a subscriber. $19.99 a month. You have to pay for the full year, and every week he gives you a property, and all the subscribers. And then try to buy that property.
Talking about OnlyFans, how much do you think I could charge a month? And do you think people would actually go onto my OnlyFans?
I mean,
if I had one,
if your feet are the only thing that's showing, you can do a feet finder, and OnlyFans.
I was telling one of my cousins that I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't you just do your feet and your toes? Because it was kind of looking all crusty. I was teasing her, but I was like, dude, there's people out there that like that kind of stuff.
There is. I mean, when I walked into here and there was a white couch, I was like, oh, thank God it's not a black couch. I thought it was gonna be a casting. I'm glad it was a real thing.
That's funny. Everybody walks in here, they're like, dude, this looks like a couch casting or something. You know what I'm saying?
But it has to be black.
Oh, does it have to be black? Well,
Yeah,
the
black leather couch.
Yeah, it shows everything. That's why we don't do the black. The white kind of hides everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, when you have some black light in here, that's kind of brave of you. What you guys don't see here is what's in front of me. And he's got books and everything, and it's like a purple light down there. So when the lights turn off, you can tell this is red carpet with some purple. I was going to take off my shoes because I'm Asian when I walked into his office, but I looked and I was like, nah, I don't want some shit on my feet. There's probably something I'm going to pick up on my feet that hasn't been found yet by the STD department or whatever.
Now, also, I want to talk about, if we look at all the homes that are on the market, right, which is 3,500 homes, okay?
That is shit.
Where is the majority of the home pricing? Anything that's at 500,000 and below, that accounts for 45% of the market share.
Yeah.
That's like the hard spot. So if you're looking for a home at that price point,
that is the hardest part to fight.
That is another situation that you're going to have to get into. You're basically in a small pond with a bunch of fish.
So for 3,500, 45% of that, $500,000 below, so that's what?
1,765.
1,700?
Yeah. 1,764 for exact.
So that's nothing.
No.
We average 2,400 home sales per month on average on a slow month.
That's what I'm saying. But my point is, if you're a buyer in today's market,
it's competitive.
It's very competitive at that price point. Now, before I let you go, is there any like final words or thoughts that you want to share?
Not one that we're gonna get my license suspended. I'm not gonna share anything with you. I saw nothing. I heard nothing. This is a clean office. Nothing shady is going on here. Blink twice if you're being held hostage. No, I'm fucking with you. Nah, man, have fun. Listen, this real estate, like you said, it's a game. It's Monopoly, and you know what? If you're not in the game, you're fucked.
So let me ask you this. If people want to follow you, if they want to do business with you, what is the best way to get with you? Look straight into that camera right there.
Fax me your resume. Look me up on MySpace at, oh shit. No, listen, just call me. 702-219-5582. I have Instagram. If you're easily offended, don't follow me. This is the most tame you're ever going to see me. You know, we talk mostly work. Before we got here, we're talking about... Chakits showed me a tattoo. He can't show it to you. That's why you got to be on his OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly.
Subscribe to his OnlyFans. He'll show you a tattoo. It's amazing. So the left cheek... Never mind. Don't worry about it. Just don't even...
So you're on Instagram?
I am.
Okay.
Under Ask Sherwin Realtor.
Okay, is that the best way to get a hold of you besides that and your number? What about a website or anything like that?
Oh, man, my last name is ESCANUELA, which is the biggest fucking curse I can ever have. I tried to get SHERWIN.com, but then apparently Sherwin Williams owns that bitch. So it's SherwinEscanuela.com, but just, if you look up Sherwin Escanuela and you can't find me in Las Vegas, I don't know what website you're looking. Stop looking on Pornhub. I ain't in it.
All right, I do appreciate it. Guys, if you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check us out on that second channel too as well. We are starting to do a reality show as far as like what's going on behind the scenes as running a real estate team, as also being like a real estate agent, whatever. Check it out, man. I think it's really fun. Everybody's all on it. That's what it's all about.